Kenjutsu, also known as sword style, is one of the most dangerous techniques that Boruto mastered during the time skip. It's not just that Boruto is good with a sword, it's that it literally makes him unstoppable. Sasuke once told Boruto that if he sharpened his skills, no one could stop him. And we can see that Boruto has clearly listened to Sasuke in the time skip. Boruto's sword style is so fast, calm, and deadly, meaning that most of the times his opponents don't even realize that the fight has started until it is already over. Once you understand how Boruto uses his sword, you'll see why his opponents rarely get a second chance to fight him. During the time skip, Boruto was trained by Sasuke, who is the only person to teach him how to fight using his sword. The kenjutsu Boruto uses is based off Sasuke's Uchiha style swordsmanship, which Sasuke developed personally. According to the Boruto database, this fighting style is inspired by real-life Japanese sword style called Ai, also known as Aijutsu. This style focuses on speed, timing, and ending fights in a single motion. As we watch Boruto's fights, we can clearly see how he follows these ideas in battle. Boruto also uses another Uchiha style technique by covering his sword with lightning release. This makes his blade faster, stronger, and even more deadly. By adding lightning chakra to his sword, Boruto is able to fight much stronger opponents, and his sword becomes as powerful as his own ability. His blade is not just a weapon, it is an extension of his strength and showcases just how strong Boruto truly is. And keep this in mind, as this is just the minute details, as the scariest part of Boruto's kenjutsu is what we discuss next. It separates him from any other swordsman. When Boruto fights the clawgrams, we see his sword style used perfectly. One rule of Aijutsu is that the fight is decided before the sword is even drawn. Boruto often keeps his sword in its sheath while watching his opponent carefully. He waits for the right moment, and when he finally draws his sword, that single movement is the attack. This idea is known as Nikitsuke, which means that drawing the blade and striking happens at the same time. Boruto moves so fast that we don't see the slash, we only see the results. With the clawgram already being defeated, every swing has a purpose, and nothing is just done to look cool. Another important rule Boruto follows is perfect distance. Before attacking, Boruto waits for his enemy to step into his critical range, where he can strike without needing to move any closer. His calm and relaxed posture tricks his enemies into rushing him. The moment they enter that critical range of distance, Boruto strikes instantly and ends the fights immediately. His opponents believe that they have an advantage, but they are walking into straight defeats. The final rule is no wasted movements. Boruto only moves when he needs to, which clearly comes from Sasuke's influence. When he was surrounded by multiple enemies, Boruto defeats them by using small and controlled movements. Sometimes he barely pulls his sword out of his sheath just to block or adjust his position. There are no unnecessary actions. Everything Boruto does has a reason. This is what allows Boruto to take down multiple clawgrams with one single movement. And this is just Boruto following the basics of Aijutsu. When he ends up adapting these rules to his new abilities, his fighting style starts to reach a completely different level. Boruto vs Mitsuki is a clear example of that. Boruto's fighting style becomes even more dangerous when he uses the Flying Thunder God technique, which allows him to teleport instantly. Because of this, Boruto no longer waits for his enemies to come close. In his fight against Mitsuki, Boruto throws several shuriken around the area, turning each one of them into a spot where he can teleport at any time. This gives him complete control of the battlefield. In this fight, Boruto shows that he can power up his sword even more by using the purple lightning. This greatly increases the strength and range of his attacks. While using purple lightning, Boruto switches to using both hands on his sword, showing that he adjusts his fighting style based off the situation and its requirements. If one hand is enough, he uses one hand. If more power is needed, then he uses both. Boruto also continues to use normal ninjutsu while fighting with his sword, even forming hand signs with one hand. a feat that has always been looked with massive praise by characters like Haku and even Sasuke have manifested in the past. This mix of sword skills and ninjutsu allows Boruto to defeat Mitsuki while still holding back. But Boruto holding back only makes sense when you actually see how strong Boruto is when he is not holding back and using his full potential. And we get to see that when he fights versus Jura, where Boruto is literally giving everything. This fight is the best fight in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex so far, and the battle starts off like we have seen with the others, with Boruto gaining clear control of the battlefield, as Boruto throws kunais all over the area, so he can teleport to them freely using the Flying Thunder God technique. One of the smartest moments in this battle happens when Boruto allows Jura to grab his sword. Boruto knows that he can't use his strongest technique while in the air, as we see that Jura is not allowing Boruto to stay still on his feet, due to the various wood style attacks that he is throwing towards Boruto. So Boruto decides to take a hit, activate his ability while he appears to be stuck in a wood style, and then when the activation is complete, he teleports to his sword that Jura is holding and ends up landing his Uzuhiko. However, we already know that Jura is extremely powerful and broken. He can do anything. Boruto's attack does not end up working, as Jura simply nullifies it. But even after that, Boruto continues, as when Jura launches multiple Bijou bombs, we see Boruto flying away. He then throws a kunai Jura's way and teleports to that kunai. He then attempts to strike Jura, but then Jura intercepts, which knocks Boruto's sword, and it begins to fall. In that same moment, Jura tries to attack Boruto and pierce him, but Boruto teleports again, catching the sword with one hand and cutting off Jura's leg. This move is so remarkable that even Jura is impressed. That single sequence just shows how skilled and dangerous Boruto has become. But this fight was literally an unstoppable force versus an immovable object, and I guess the immovable object is so broken that he won. But later, Boruto explains that his sword broke, not only due to the fact that Jura is an absolute monster and beast, but because Boruto lost concentration while he was fighting. This shows that Boruto still has room to improve, but with the power of the Karma and the Byakugan, which grants him better awareness, more speed, more power, and increases his range of influence, I am absolutely sure that we will see Boruto reach even greater heights, as we have already begun to see in this most recent chapter. We have Boruto, who alongside using the Karma to greatly increase his speed and power, he ends up using the Byakugan. He then throws multiple kunais out, teleports to a huge crowd of Mamushi clones, and in one swing, he is capable of defeating all of them. This not only showcases Boruto's strength, but it also showcases a major advantage of using Aijutsu, and that is that it really helps to work against multiple opponents. This style is really effective against claw grimes, clones, and various other people that you have been shown. There are still weaknesses to Boruto's ice style, which is simply due to the fact that with Boruto it does require a level of concentration to continuously amp your sword, but we'll discuss how that changes later on in the video. But also with the Byakugan, Boruto being capable of fighting characters all around him becomes even more possible and even easier for Boruto. As in the past, he may have to check his back a couple of times to get a bigger picture of what exactly is around him. But now he doesn't, with the Byakugan granting him an almost 360-degree angle of vision. He is able to see exactly where his opponents are. So when he remains in this calm posture, baiting his enemies into attacking him, there is no doubt that Boruto is clearly aware of everything that is happening, which makes it even easier for his opponents to underestimate him. And then, with one swing of a sword, like we have seen him do continuously, he will kill said opponents. And on top of that, Boruto's sword is upgraded so that it automatically takes chakra from his body to empower itself, meaning that Boruto no longer needs to focus on doing that manually, which allows Boruto to place his concentration on something else. So, as an overview, let's go through the strengths and weaknesses of Boruto's fighting style. The biggest strength of Boruto's fighting style is its simple efficiency. Boruto does not waste movements, chakra, or time. Every time Boruto uses his blade, it has a specific purpose. Boruto excels at surprise attacks and counterattacks, which means it is extremely hard for his opponents to react. With his calm stance being used as bait, whenever Boruto strikes, it tends to deal a great deal of damage. Another strength about Boruto's fighting style, due to the fact that he can use both a one-handed stance and a two-handed, it means that Boruto's fighting style is quite versatile. Boruto is not just limited to kenjutsu, he can use lightning release, the flying thunder god, purple lightning, and with the Byakugan and now the karma, he is able to increase his range of influence and how much damage he is capable of doing, not only to just one opponent but to multiple opponents. This allows Boruto to excel in both close range, mid-range, and long-range battle because he doesn't really have to change too much about his style. With the Flying Raijin, he can be anywhere he wants, and by using various sorts of lightning release. But the biggest weakness that Boruto truly has is the fact that his sword style really is risky to run against other people who can regenerate, because Boruto relies on being able to deal heavy damage to his opponents. So if they have overwhelming durability or crazy regeneration, it's going to be a lot harder for Boruto to be able to deal a killing blow to these opponents. However, some of these weaknesses are bound to change, as there is one last upgrade that we are still not aware of that Boruto possesses. A special material that changes everything, and once you understand what it is, you'll realize that Boruto's sword is no longer just a weapon. And that's exactly why you have to watch this video right here, as I break down everything about what that material may be.